Welcome back to another episode of My Black Neighbors Podcast. I'm your host, Big Old Cannon. Boom! Hey, and today we got a special guest for y'all. Highly, highly, highly respected. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all are going to want to know about investing. I've been getting a lot of inquiries about that, and we're going to give you the answers today. You want to know how you can get properties. You want to know about getting in touch with a realtor and how to make your situation better for you. Hey, we got the woman for it. Without further ado, Miss Gabrielle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Another day above the grass. We're glad we made it.
Yes, we did.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For those who are just tuning in, for those who may know you, may not know you, and for those who are just looking, can you give us a little bit of your background, where you come from, and your profession?
Well, my name is Gabrielle Garner, and I am from a small town just about 30 miles east of Nashville, Lebanon, Tennessee. I grew up there, born and raised, and I went to MTSU, got a degree in business, really did nothing with it, always felt from the heart that I was an entrepreneur, but not really knowing what to do with that feeling on the inside of being an entrepreneur, but just knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur from the age of the 7th grade, I think I remember.
How did you know that?
Well, okay, so it depends on how long we get on this podcast. Okay.
Come on, let's do it. The people listen. The people need to hear these things, because I think people think things happen overnight, and a lot of times for most investors and entrepreneurs and businessmen and women, we already knew these things. These things were in us. It's just always been earning and burning until we found our outlet.
Absolutely. So, I candidly recall being in the 7th grade, and I was at the bus stop. Mm-hmm. And I had one of my good friends. She was always, wanting candy. And so, it's like everybody, 7th grade, you're in middle school, we, blow pops, Jolly Ranchers or whatever.
Right.
So I don't even know like how the conversation started or whatever, but I said, well, shoot, I got you these blow pops or whatever, I'll sell them to you. Mm-hmm. So I actually started selling candy for one of my good friends, and then I kind of became like the candy lady at the bus stop on the bus. Yeah. So my mom would take me to Walmart, like kid you not, she would take me to Walmart and get like these big bags of candy, and I would make like $50-$60 a week in the 7th grade selling candy. Yeah. And so I knew there, I was like, this is easy. Like, it's like, this is really easy. So I knew at that point, I'm like, I definitely want to be some type of entrepreneur, but I just didn't know from that point what that was going to look like or what that was going to be.
Right. So, let's transition into so once you kind of you really essentially was teaching yourself, your market, your return, your investment, price range, what you charge, right. The whole layout of business to begin with. What kind of got you geared towards should I say real estate?
Well, again, actually, real estate was a complete fluke. So at the time I went to MTSU, got a business degree, business administration, and really never did anything with it. I got married quick, young, and had 2 kids, right away. And so, I was a stay-at-home mother. I was a stay-at-home mom. And, someone mentioned like, you should do real estate. And I'm like, I said, nah. I said, I'm not a salesperson. That's just not me. So I never, ever in a million years would have dreamt that I would be in real estate ever. Like if you were to tell me 10, 15 years ago, I'll be doing real estate, I was like, no, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I was staying at home. And so, I started taking the classes online or whatever. And I walked into a real estate office and I said, well, it's been said I should be a realtor. I don't even know what that entails, but here I am. So what do I need to do? Right. So ironically, I walked in as a complete walk-in, and I was the rookie of the year that year, Keller Williams Realty that year. And so with no mentor, no sponsorship, none of that, just pretty much just pure.
You were a natural.
Yeah. So I was like, well, that worked out. That was actually pretty good. And so from there, I just I waited until my kids went to both of them got into school, elementary school, and that's when I went full time.
Cool.
And it's been from there.
Okay, so from my understanding, you are an investor as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
can we touch on that? Like, for those listening, I get a lot of questions and inquiries about how do you find properties? What is it? What does a true investor entail? And like I always say, everybody has a different niche. We're all investors, but we go about things differently. But the end result is profit. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you don't mind, can you kind of give us a layout on how you go about doing your investing and how you acquire your properties and what you do when you do take control of a property?
Right. So there's different types of investors. There's different levels and different types of real estate investors.
Mm-hmm.
There's what you would call wholesaler, and a wholesaler is one that doesn't necessarily have to have a real estate license. They're just going to go and find deals and get them under contract and assign or sell that contract to an end buyer, to someone who will buy it and who will close on it, do the work, or do whatever they're going to do with it. So
Right.
you have wholesalers, then you have the flippers or the end buyers, or whatever you want to do, if you want to hold that or whatever. And I consider myself like the end buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the one who will buy those deals from wholesalers and other people who get them under contract, and I close on them, and I either flip them, or I put them, get them fixed up, and I rent them out.
So
I
hold
do
on,
that.
let's slow it down a little bit for my
Mhm.
listeners and those who are probably already in the process of doing this, trying to do this, or need to know the layout.
Mm-hmm.
When you say wholesalers and they have a contract, I would say
Mm-hmm.
you're the one that purchases them from them, correct?
From them, correct.
Break that down, what that entails.
So let's say you,
Mm-hmm.
you do whatever marketing or signs on the road or whatever. So we buy houses. Those are those guys or girls.
Right.
And so they are the ones who actually, that's how they get the deal. They get the deal. They pretty much negotiate the whole contract.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever price that they get it under contract for, then they will sell that contract to an end buyer, which is me or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have a fee in that. It could be $5,000, it could be 20, it could be whatever that fee is. Then I look at the deal and just determine, does it make sense for me? Because I know based on what the comparables in the neighborhoods are selling for, I know what makes sense for me. I'm not necessarily concerned with what you got it under contract. I just need to know if it makes sense for me. And so to how I get those, I am actually not the one that goes and gets the deal. So there's different ways to go get those deals. I mean, social media marketing, signs, cold calling, word of mouth, is hustling,
Right, for sure.
The natural hustle.
For the people on the ground. We're the people on the ground, and we bring you the deals, give or take.
Yes. And I love it. It's like, I mean, I love to have the deal brought to me because I'm doing so many other things. I am selling real estate full time. I am mentoring brand new agents. I am a single mother, so it's like, I don't have time to go find a deal. Like, just bring me the deal and I'll pay you for the deal.
Let me, so that's an important part of this. When you say you'll pay, I would say for the deal or that's brought to you, do you, for my listeners, y'all tune in. Do you pay them cash? How do they get paid? Like, if I was to bring you a deal now, for example, and you determine that, hey, this is a good deal for me, it's a good investment. How does the finances and the monetary situation come into play?
So usually there is an intermediary and a closing attorney who closes the deal. Mm-hmm. So you can put whatever fee, 5, 10 grand or whatever. And so at the closing, you'll have a line which is allocated for whatever amount that you want to get paid. But it typically goes through a closing attorney to be legit and, to make sure everything is. Now I've seen times where, they just paid them a flat fee out front. Mm-hmm. I've never done that. All the deals I've ever done have been through a closing, real estate closing attorney. So.
Right. And typically that's when I do my investments, I always have my attorney that I go to to close the deals out.
Right.
administer to me my deeds and all that other stuff and so on and so
And you
forth.
want to make sure that everything you do is protected. So
Yeah, yeah.
I strongly suggest that.
Can you, because I do segments too, and I just did one recommending how important it is to have an attorney on your side. Can you kind of
Absolutely.
enlighten how important that is?
Hmm. It is because I've seen, oh man, I've seen, I could write a book, a really
Mm-hmm.
good, crazy book of some of the things that have happened to me in this journey. And had I not had a closing attorney and title insurance, it
Mm-hmm.
would be crazy. So
Yeah,
I've had deals where 3 days before closing, I found out that the house was condemned.
yeah. Or
Like, I
could you
mean,
speak on liens, like liens, unforeseen liens
absolutely.
that stay with the property? And I don't think people realize that it doesn't matter if I had the house or you had it. If I created a lien or some type of judgment against this house, that lien stays with the property, right or wrong.
It absolutely does. Those things do transfer. And
Yeah.
so it's at that point where a closing attorney
Mm-hmm.
does a title search and do all of that to determine if there's any liens on the property, and that can be settled prior to closing. I have another situation where it was a piece of land,
Mm-hmm.
and piece of land was like an uncredible deal, like $20,000 for like, I can't even remember how many acres it was, but it was a great, man, it was a fantastic deal.
Right.
So we get close to closing and find out that the owner was deceased. So it was his executors who were, his family members taking over
Right.
the closing. But come to find out that the man had student loans in the
Mm.
amount of $100-something thousand that where he hadn't paid over the years,
Over
and they
time.
attached to over time, so it attached to the house. So there was $100,000 lien on a $20,000 property, and
Yeah,
it
makes
could not
sense.
close.
Yeah.
And student loans are not forgivable.
Right.
Like federal student loans are not forgivable. So that is just one of the crazy examples that I've had where you definitely want to have a real estate attorney.
Okay. Do you and I don't want to get too deep into this. Do you go and find, like, I would say cold call, or do you maybe go through a neighborhood that you might feel like is a good lead, or so on and so forth? Do you pay cash for those type of homes, or do you, when you say you rent them out, do you rehab them yourself and so on and so forth?
Mhm. I do. Yes. So I have a few different lenders that I partner with, and it's for
Mm-hmm.
different things. So it depends on what my exit strategy is for the home.
Mm-hmm.
So what my intention is when I buy it. Do I want to flip it? Do I want to sell it to someone else as an investor? Do I want to rent it out? So depending on what I want to do for the end, it depends on what type of lender I'm going to choose.
Right. Do you
Mhm.
do you do you do you do anything with sales? Do you do any tax sales or anything like that?
I haven't. I think I've done maybe one or two.
You don't really like them
Over
too
here.
much?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The tax, the so with tax sales, you got to be kind of careful with those
Careful.
because
Speak on that. Speak on that. Yeah.
In Tennessee, we have what's called a right of redemption. So
Yeah.
the seller has so many months. I think Tennessee is a year
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter what you pay for it. The seller can bring forth the money and procure the home back.
Yeah. And then they
And
do gain what interest, maybe 12%, I
yeah,
believe, in
yeah,
Tennessee. Yeah.
yes, it does gain. Yes, absolutely. Then again, interest on that. So
Hmm.
I haven't really dealt a whole lot in that because I kind of like to
Yeah.
know what I'm getting into,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
No, I
just too
get
much.
it.
It's too many variables under, that you can't really determine what's going to
Foresee.
be.
You can't
Foresee.
foresee.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
get a lot of questions. That's why I asked, because I don't want people to just take my word for it. I want career professionals as well. To not just back me up, but tell me your experience. You might have a better experience or worse. And I
Mhm.
tend to say, a lot of times with sales, you can put down whatever. I mean, you might get a deal for something for 15,000, but that don't mean you're going to get the property. You could come down to the last day for a year, and someone come and
Mhm.
redeem their property, you're going to get the 12%. But that
Absolutely.
means you're going to make a little profit, but
Yeah,
your money's been held up. But some
yeah.
people do that. That's their
And
goal. Yeah, go ahead.
And what if you've made improvements to the property? What if you start doing
Yeah,
things to it? So that's a
yeah.
loss. I'm like,
You lose it. You just basically gave somebody
I'm
a face
good.
uplift, uplifted the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So you do realty as well. You're a realtor,
mhm,
correct?
I do.
How can people contact you if they're interested, in trying to buy their first time home, or, forever home, or, they're just an investor, trying to check out, see what you have available on the MLS? How can you be contacted?
You can contact me direct or through my Facebook at Nashville Top Realtor. On my Facebook page, just send me a direct message there. But I will share my direct cell phone number too, because I am one that I answer the phone. I'm not a realtor that just doesn't answer the phone. And that really irks me because I believe that that's how you do your business. Answer the phone, pick up the phone. So I do give my direct cell phone number out. And if you can't get me there, which you shouldn't be able to, you can find me on Facebook at Nashville Top Realtor.
Cool. Do you can you represent, and are you licensed for the whole Tennessee, or are you just in the
Yes.
middle? Okay. That's a good
Yes,
question too, I think.
I am licensed in Tennessee, anywhere in the state of Tennessee, but I also can I have a partner in all 50 states. So
Right.
I can do deals in all 50 states and Australia and Africa as well
Okay.
now through my company. Yeah.
That's amazing. I might take you up on that Africa deal. I'm trying to give me something in Africa for
Yeah,
sure. For sure. For sure. For sure.
absolutely. We
Yeah.
can do it.
We will do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, is there anything that you would tell your past self, your present self, and your future self?
Past self is I wish I would have done it sooner.
Mm,
Like I really wish I would have taken that leap of faith sooner.
mm-hmm,
Present self, go harder.
mm.
Just go harder. And future self, don't look back.
Don't look back. How do you manage being a professional businesswoman, a family, and uh investing as well?
It's difficult. I cannot sit here and tell you that it is easy. It's not. And I am raising young men. I
Mm-hmm,
have a 13, almost 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, two
mm-hmm,
sons.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, trying to be a woman and raising young men at this age is difficult. It's
mm-hmm,
difficult,
mm-hmm.
but it's not impossible, and I
Right.
make it happen. So
Right. What would you
yeah.
say to someone that's I mean, they're just sitting at home, or they're constantly watching YouTube, or they might be listening to us and they just like, man, I wanna make that leap of faith as like you or me, and get to investing, but they feel like maybe their 9 to 5 is holding them back. How can they balance that? And what advice would you give them?
I would say use that 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Use that as a catalyst to move forward because that's what I did. Um, I literally was working. I was in the pharmaceutical industry before I got into, so a stay-at-home mom, and I went into pharmaceuticals, and that's where I was working before I got into real estate. So
Mm-hmm.
I was working and I was driving one day and something just said, you're not going to be doing this very long. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so you want me to do real estate full time? I can't do that.
Right.
So like literally within, I think it was 60 days, I just I just said, you know what? I didn't really have a plan. Like I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna step out on faith and just do it, and
Mm-hmm.
just do it because I know I didn't just hear this in my brain. And if it was put in my heart to do it, then I know I can do it.
But
So
but with that being said, because I don't want to get anything misconstrued, were
mhm.
you making money with what you were doing before you made that transition, and in the transition that you made, had you already got your feet wet with?
A little bit,
Okay.
but again, I was part-time.
Right,
I was
right, right.
part-time, and really to really go into something and be serious about it, you gotta give it your all. You gotta give it your full attention, but don't like use what you have to be able to move. So use the job, like work
Mm-hmm.
around the schedule,
Mm-hmm.
save your money and try to get whatever best plan that you can to be able to leave a job. I'll never say, you know, quit your job and just do it. No, don't do that. Like create
Right,
a plan, use it.
right.
Use your job to create a plan to do.
Strategize.
Yes, absolutely. So that was just pretty much it. Like I quit. Like, and I only wish I would have done it like so much sooner. So
Okay. Well, with that being said, hey, we can leave it at that. I'm your host, Big Old Cannon. Boom! And this has been another episode of My Black Neighbors Podcast. We appreciate it.
thank you.